Hey there! You're about to learn how to ship a feature end-to-end with Claude Code. By the end of this video, you'll have a real feature up and running, from ideation to deployment. Let's get started. First things first, make sure you have everything set up. You should have Claude Code installed on your machine, along with Claude.md for managing tasks and MCP servers for deploying your code. Let's suppose we're building a simple feature that calculates the Fibonacci sequence based on user input. This is a straightforward example, but will give us a solid foundation to work from. Open your terminal or IDE and create a new directory for this project. Dear Fibonacci feature, cd Fibonacci feature. Next, we'll set up our project structure. Create the following files in your project folder. Fibonacci.py. This will contain our Fibonacci logic. Requirements.txt for any dependencies. .gitignore to ignore unnecessary files during version control. Your directory should look like this. Fibonacci feature / Fibonacci.py. Requirements.txt. .gitignore. Open Fibonacci.py in your text editor and add the following code to define the Fibonacci sequence generator. Python def Fibonacci n a b equals 0, 1 for underscore and range in yield a b rovnitko b a plus b. If underscore name underscore equals underscore min underscore infer n equals int input, enter the number of Fibonacci numbers to generate. Print list Fibonacci in. Open requirements.txt and add any necessary dependencies, like Claude Code itself. For simplicity, we won't need external libraries in this case. Now, open your Claude.md file to log the task. New feature, Fibonacci sequence calculator. Set up project structure. Write Fibonacci logic. Add dependencies and configure Claude.md. Mark each item as done by clicking on it. Claude will keep track of your progress. Before we deploy, let's test our Fibonacci.py script to ensure everything works as expected. In your terminal, say Python Fibonacci.py. Follow the prompt and enter a number to generate the Fibonacci sequence. By following these steps, you'll have a working feature ready for deployment. Stay tuned for more details on testing, staging, and deploying this feature with MCP servers. All right, you're ready to ship a feature end-to-end with Claude Code. And first things first, we need our environment all set up. Make sure you've installed the latest version of Claude Code from the official website. You can do this by visiting https://claude.ai/code and downloading the installer. Once it's downloaded, run the installer and follow the prompts to install Claude Code on your computer. If you're on a Mac or Linux machine, you might want to opt for the terminal-based version since it has some extra features that can make our workflow smoother. After installation, open up your favorite code editor. Visual Studio Code is a good choice, and navigate to the directory where you'll be working on this feature. In Claude Code, you'll find an easy way to manage your projects and dependencies so everything's in one place. To get started, let's create a new project with a simple structure. Open up Claude.md and enter. Markdown. Create a new directory for the feature. Initialize the project with Claude Code. Then press Enter. This will automatically create a new directory called My Feature Project in your current working directory and initialize it with all necessary files. You'll see a folder pop up with a .claude project file inside, indicating that this is now a Claude project. Now, navigate into the newly created directory. Bash cd My Feature Project. And make sure you have Claude.md open in your code editor so you can track all your progress in Todos. By the end of this setup, your environment will be ready to roll. You're now configured with Claude Code and Claude.md, and you've set up a new project directory. Next time, we'll dive into defining our feature requirements and start coding. All right, you've got your environment set up, and now it's time to start building something real. We're going to create a new project called Weather App. First things first, open up your terminal and navigate to the directory where you want to store all your projects. Bash Dear Weather App. cd Weather App. Now that we're in the right spot, let's initialize our Claude.md project. This will set up everything we need for development with Claude Code. Run this command. Bash Claudini. When the prompt comes up asking which template you want to use, choose MCP. MCP stands for Miniature Code Project, and it's a great choice for simple projects like ours. This will generate all the necessary files and directories to get us started. Once that's done, your project is all set up. You got a clean slate ready for coding with Claude. By now, you've got your weather app project set up in Claude Code. The next step is defining our new feature, fetching the current weather. We're going to use Claude add fetch_weather to create a new skill within the weather app project. First, open your terminal and navigate back to your weather app directory. cd/projects/weather app. Now, let's define our fetch_weather feature. Run this command in your terminal. Claude add fetch_weather. This will create a new subdirectory named fetch_weather with a basic structure inside the weather app directory. Inside there, you'll find an empty file called fetch_weather.py. This is where we'll write the code to fetch weather data. Here's what your project should look like now. Weather apps /Claude.md hashtag configuration for Claude Code. Main.py hashtag entry point of our app. Fetch_weather /hashtag new skill directory. Fetch_weather.py. In fetch_weather.py, you can start by importing the necessary libraries and writing a simple function to get weather data. For now, let's just add a basic print statement. Python def fetch_weather. Print fetching current weather. By doing this, we've defined our feature in Claude Code. The fetch_weather skill is ready for more detailed implementation. All right, you've got your feature defined. Now it's time to bring that concept to life in Claude Code. Open up fetch_weather.py in your text editor. We're going to implement the function you just described. Type the following code into the file. Python def fetch_weather location. Return f current weather in location is sunny. Save the file. You've just implemented a simple function that returns a string indicating the current weather at any given location as sunny. This is how Claude Code allows you to define and implement functions directly. Now, let's make sure this works by adding a quick test. At the bottom of fetch_weather.py, add Python if underscore equals main underscore print fetch_weather New York. Run your script using the command Python fetch_weather.py. You should see current weather in New York is sunny. Great job. This little function now exists and works as expected. All right, you made it to the final stretch. After all that work implementing our new feature to fetch the current weather, we're now at the point where you can test it out and ship your changes. Let's do a quick sanity check to make sure everything works as expected. First things first, open up your terminal. We're going to run a simple command to see if your feature works. Claude run fetch_weather New York. If you followed the steps correctly, you should get this response. Current weather in New York is sunny. That's it. Your feature is working as intended. Now comes what makes all this effort worthwhile: shipping your changes to make them live. To do that, simply commit and push your code to your repository. Git add, git commit, implement fetch_weather feature. Git push origin main. Once you push the changes, give it a moment for any CI/CD pipelines you might have set up to run their checks and deploy. If everything is green, your new weather fetching feature is now live. Great job! By following this workflow with Claude Code, you've just shipped your first real feature end-to-end.